most successful people are the most charismatic people. And you look at people like The Rock is the most charismatic individual on the planet right now. But if you go back and see who he was when he was like wrestling and when he first started his acting career, he was not charismatic at all. He was not very funny. He was not likable. People didn't really like him. What he did is he hired an acting coach, which taught him how to act and be like more presentable and, you know, start being a more charismatic human. And now through that process of trial and error and improving himself, he is the most charismatic person. So for me, like I just try to improve that skill because it is a actual skill. It's like when I'm doing a lot of these videos, it is me, but it's also acting at the same time.
Yeah, I think you do a tremendous job with it. And I think it's so interesting that so many times, like you're saying, The Rock, he invested in his future by hiring an acting coach, right? How many times do we not want to invest in things because we're afraid of losing money, as if money is the end all be all, but we never move forward as quickly and efficiently as we could, versus when you actually invest using money and you send that energy out, it actually comes back tenfold a lot of times.
Yeah, and there was something you said in your email about energy is money is energy, right? And you know, I always try to tell people and teach people like, hey, like you are your number one asset. You are your greatest asset. So treat it that way. Like, what are you going to put all of your money into if you know that is the best asset you have? You're going to put all of your money into it because you're going to get infinite return. So by investing in yourself, you're going to get infinite returns. And if that means happiness, perfect. If that means success, whatever your definition of success looks like, by investing in yourself will get you one step forward to that goal. And so I can take $100 million and invest it, into a stock, or I can take $100 million and invest into me. And that could be my health, my happiness, my future, my relationships. And I'm just going to enjoy this planet so much more versus, taking $100 million and putting in a stock. But the stock is not doing anything for me, but just accumulating more money, sitting there sedentary. So it's like two different like mindsets and thought processes of like really investing in who you are and the things you love in this life. So, I think that challenging yourself and getting uncomfortable is almost necessary for who we are as people.
Yeah, I love that.
If you try to put too much energy in different places, you'll not be successful at any of them. And, coming back to the statistic you even said me of like 69% of people, don't even have $1,000 to their name. Like if they were to come up and need like a tire fix or an emergency, they just wouldn't be able to, fix it. Like they just would have to either put it on credit or borrow money from somebody else. And it's a very sad situation, as our whole, as a society, as our country that we're in. And it just all comes back to education and what we were taught growing up as kids and what we're taught in the education system. And our system is really broken at the end of the day. It's broken because the way that it was set up was to teach people to become workers, like to become a professional in a world of, how do you work in a factory or how do you work for the system? But they never actually taught you how to handle money, what is credit, like what is leverage, what is collateral, like what are all these things that people hear and they're like, oh, I really don't know what that is or how to use that effectively. And then when it comes to savings, nobody even talks about savings. They kind of just like think it's this magic word that we all should do, but nobody actually does it. It comes back to our habits as human beings. We just have really bad habits of spending, keeping up with the Joneses, wanting to be of significance. And the consumer mindset that we've created for America as a whole has put us all in a really bad situation. But if you give athletes a ton of money, they're going to go broke. But if you also give a lottery ticket winner a ton of money, they're going to go broke, right? So it's not just athletes, it's just people in general. They don't have that mindset. But in the flip side, if you take somebody who is a successful entrepreneur or business owner that makes a ton of money, you wipe everything away from their bank account, put them in a random place, within a couple of years, they'll be right back where they started. And it all comes back to the mindset.
Money mindset, are there certain steps that you would categorize that as, or how would you define that?
Yeah, so a money mindset can be just back to what we were saying at the beginning about like the thought of being broke versus the thought of being poor, right? Being poor is indefinite, right? You think that you're stuck there, like your circumstances, you can't get out. Being broke is a mindset of growth, that I'm always going to continuously learn to be better. And one day I will have a significant amount of income to meet the lifestyle and happiness that I want. And so if you are a victim and you let your circumstances hold you back, you don't have a money mindset at all. But if you have the mindset of like, hey, one day I'm going to be X, Y, Z, and I'm going to strive to be the best version of myself every day, now that is a strong money mindset. And that person is reading books, doing podcasts, getting around the right people, changing their environment. We all have a thermostat right now. It's like, what is your temperature? It could be 50 degrees, 60 degrees, 70 degrees. And your thermostat is set at that temperature. We have to find a way to increase that temperature slowly but surely.
What is it that they're doing that none of us are doing?
They have a clear path on exactly where they want to go, what they want. The other individual that is in the broke or the poor mindset has zero idea where they want to go. It's so simple, but it's hard for people to like actually take the steps to go ahead and move forward and pursue that. So, find your mission, find your purpose, find your why, and then chase it, get clear, and put all of your energy into that one thing. Like, make yourself the best version of you, find what you love to do, devote your life to it, and you will be successful. It's not hard.
It's just very interesting. The more mindful you become about your habits and your practices, you can reroute that, and make it more purposeful.
Yeah. And if I had to like give one financial sound advice to somebody that like would really transform their world, it's kind of the things you're already doing is first and foremost, every dollar that comes in, you first have to pay yourself first. And it comes back to Parkinson's law as well, right? And Parkinson's law is essentially saying like whatever you make or whatever you have, you will end up spending it. Like, and if you don't have a plan for it, it'll disappear. And you won't even know where it's going majority of the time. So that's why you have to have a spending plan, I like to call it, or a managing your money. Those are like small things that people don't realize. Like if I have $83,000 today, I will need to make around $350,000 30 years from now just to keep up with the same lifestyle. So people are getting into trouble now when they're ready to retire because they have $800,000 in their account and now they're getting ready to retire. Now they're afraid, right? They're like, do I even have enough money to live off of? Or am I living off of only interest? And then they have to decrease their lifestyle. They don't get to travel. They don't get experience to find things of life. And it's hard to spend less money when you're doing nothing as well, because now you're doing nothing and you want to travel. You want to go golfing. You want to go out to eat more. You want to do all these things. And so like, I'm just a huge proponent of living intentionally now and living intentionally for the future and living the life that you truly desire. And it's not, stacking money and putting it in a retirement account until you're 65 years old and then hoping one day like I'll be able to quote unquote retire and live a happy ever after.
Yeah. So you encourage people to live their life in the moment.
Not all expenses are bad, and that's what people need to realize. It's like, what do I love? What do I enjoy? And like I need to live and push towards that.
Your mental health has to be first and foremost. If you're in a bad place, you'll never get where you want to go, even if you save your money to do it. It won't happen.
And so there's like an opportunity cost to everything that you do. And that's the things that people need to realize. It's like, okay, I can spend this dollar today, enjoy it, be happy with it, and, be more productive me. Or I can take it and I can save it and I can put it aside, right? You have one or the other. You have to find out what is best for you.
If we can see patterns in our life that maybe aren't just directly related to money, but that kind of like duplicates itself.
There's some inefficiencies that I think are super important that people don't realize that they're doing, that they think is what they're supposed to do, right? And so that would be like, for instance, somebody buys a home, right? And they think that getting a 15-year mortgage is more beneficial than getting a 30-year mortgage. But if you do the math and you actually take a 30-year mortgage and you take the difference between what you spend on a 30-year mortgage and the 15-year mortgage and invest into that difference and put it into another vehicle, you will end up making more money with a 30-year mortgage. Plus you have tax advantages of having a mortgage on your house. But another destructive expense is buying like a gym membership and not using it. You don't want to look back when you're 80 years old and regret your life. That is the biggest thing, right? You're going to regret all the things that you didn't do, not to regret the things you did do, right? So if I said I didn't get to travel enough, I didn't get to spend time with my kids enough, I didn't spend time in the moment, like you didn't do all those things, you're going to regret that.
Thank you.
If you're not making somebody else's life better, you're wasting your time. And so it all comes back to like value creation and being able to give back and pour into other people. And happiness is the ROI that we should be looking for. I really, really, really enjoyed this. Like I had a ton of fun. This was a blast. I'm able to have this conversation. Most people, they don't ask questions like this. So it was really fun to be able to like take it in a different direction and, talk about this stuff. So it was good.
I'm so glad. That makes me so happy. I appreciate that feedback.